Good morning, everyone. Or I guess it's not exactly morning anymore, is it? Um, I know all of your time is super valuable. So I know we've got a few more folks joining, but we're going to be recording this and sharing with the over 200 folks who have signed up already to participate in the SNAP Challenge. So we'll be a smaller group maybe on this live webinar, but it will go out to everybody who's signed up for the SNAP Challenge. So thank you all for being here. I'm really excited to have our guest speakers with us here today. I'm Sophia Lenars-Coy. I'm the Executive Director of the Food Group, but we are thrilled to be joined today by Ashley from our Lived Experience Leadership Cohort and Mai from the University of Minnesota Extension Nutrition Education Team, and Commissioner Tiki Brown from the Department of Children, Youth, and Families. So you'll be hearing from them all as we go. So again, welcome. Thank you for your interest in the SNAP Challenge. It's such an important time to be thinking and talking about this. So I wanted to share a little bit more about the food group. We are a nonprofit that does a lot of things that kind of throughout the food system, really believing that we can have a more just and equitable food system that works for all of us in Minnesota. So we do that by supporting anti-hunger work and partnering with local food shelves across the state of Minnesota. We have affordable grocery programs, knowing that access to healthy food is so critical in so many neighborhoods in our communities. We support sustainable agriculture through our land-based education program at Big River Farms. And we do advocacy work, knowing that it's going to take really strong public policy solutions to make sure that everyone has the access to food that they need and that we believe that everyone deserves. So that's what we do at the food group. And the reason that all that this work brings us to our SNAP challenge is because SNAP is such an important federal nutrition program. So for those of you who are less familiar with SNAP, it's a major part of the patchwork of resources that so many people in our state rely on to put food on the table. And as an organization that does a lot with food shelves throughout our state, we see the really important role that the charitable food system plays in getting food to folks in local communities. And we do everything we can to support that. But for every one meal that's distributed within that system from food banks and food shelves, SNAP provides 9. So SNAP is just an incredibly important piece of making sure that folks in the state of Minnesota have access to healthy, culturally connected foods that they need. So one thing, though, that I think can be hard to remember is just how difficult it is to live on a really limited budget. And so while we want to talk about the importance of SNAP and raise awareness of this really critical program through the challenge, we also want to remind folks with the cost of groceries having skyrocketed this last year or two, it is so challenging to live on a really limited food budget. And that's what we're inviting folks to join us in through this challenge. You're going to be hearing more from a lot of folks about that. And we really want to encourage everyone to approach this challenge with open hearts and open minds to really try to think about being in solidarity together, right? So many of us are just one life event away from needing to rely on SNAP. And some people on this call are on SNAP or have been on SNAP. So this is not something that only happens to other people, right? The purpose of this challenge is really to come together and understand together the mental load and the creativity that needs to go in to eating on such a limited SNAP budget. So with that, I am so thrilled to introduce the Commissioner of the Department of Children, Youth, and Families, Tiki Brown, and I will hand it over to her.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you all today. And a big thank you to everybody for joining us for the food group's SNAP challenge this afternoon. And I guess a kickoff this afternoon, really. It's a kickoff. So Raising awareness about food insecurity is so important, especially as we approach Thanksgiving and the holidays. And as Sophia was sharing, we know that food insecurity and awareness impacts so many people in Minnesota. 1 in 7 children do not have consistent access to nutrition that they need to grow and thrive. And indeed, last year, nearly 450,000 Minnesotans received SNAP benefits, which are a lifeline for individuals and families with low incomes. SNAP helps stretch a household's food budget, allowing for people to purchase groceries. But as important as SNAP is, it's not enough to cover all of a family's needs, all of a family's food needs. And we know that many Minnesotans rely on a combination of many different programs and community supports to really help fill the gap. In 2023, more than 7.5 million visits were made to food shelves in Minnesota, and we're on track to break that record again in 2024 for the 4th year in a row. This is a real reminder of many families' ongoing struggles to put food on the table. So at the Department of Children, Youth, and Families, we're really proud to be part of this solution. In addition to SNAP benefits, we support programs that are focused on food security, including outreach, nutrition education, food sovereignty, and prepared meals. We work from an equity-driven, whole family approach to help meet people's food needs. And we have the Economic Assistance and Employment Supports Division and the Office of Economic Opportunity leading our hunger and food security efforts. They support counties, tribes, community organizations across Minnesota that distribute benefits and make sure that people do not go hungry. By joining the Food Groups Challenge, we are raising awareness about SNAP and food security and supporting efforts that help meet people's food needs. The SNAP Challenge is a powerful way to understand the daily challenges that many face in trying to feed their families on a limited budget. Participants live on the average SNAP benefit for 3 days before Thanksgiving, which is about $5.16 a day. And that's not a lot of money when you're trying to plan meals, buy nutritious foods, and trying to meet your family's needs. It's just not enough. Now, those that have participated in the challenge have said it opened up their eyes to families' difficult choices between buying healthy food or paying for other necessities such as rent or utilities. And listening to those who have lived through experiences of food insecurity is so important. And so today we'll hear from Ashley, who has faced these challenges firsthand, and will offer valuable insights into the emotional and practical struggles. Ashley's perspective and those of others with lived experience are key to finding effective solutions while shaping policies and programs addressing the root causes of food insecurity. So through this challenge, we encourage people to come together to share their experiences, discuss solutions, and connect with local organizations working to address food insecurity. And as participants share their stories, they help raise awareness and advocate for better policies that support people struggling with hunger, like increasing SNAP benefits. This work is so important, and we couldn't do it without all of you. I appreciate your interest in participating in the SNAP Challenge and participating in the movement to support food security in Minnesota. And a special thank you to the food group for leading this effort and for mobilizing us all to join in this challenge. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Commissioner Brown, for being here and for all the amazing support and the work that the Department of Children, Youth, and Families does to help families who are facing food insecurity. So as always, we're incredibly grateful for your partnership. So hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Rachel Holmes. I'm the Director of Advocacy and Community Engagement here at the Food Group. And you'll hear from me a little bit later on talking about the SNAP Challenge itself and how it kind of works and what to expect. But as kind of Commissioner Brown and Sophia had mentioned before, I do want to take a second just to kind of reiterate that at the Food Group, we truly believe that the voices of people who have lived experience are essential to the work that we do. And that is why we have our lived experience leadership cohort. This is a group of incredible people who come together to guide pretty much all of the work that we do here at the Food Group. So they bring the real life perspectives that we need to make sure that we're really addressing the right issues in the right way. And especially during a challenge like this, it's really important that we stand with them and truly listen to their experiences. So as we kind of get ready to take on this challenge together, I just urge everyone to keep in mind the importance of standing in solidarity with people who have faced these very real life issues and being really mindful on how we kind of approach these conversations. So with that, I'm really excited to welcome Ashley to speak with us today. Ashley was a member of our 2024 lived experience cohort, and she's going to share a little bit more about her story. So thanks, Ashley.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me here, and thank you all for taking the time to want to do this challenge. Experiencing things firsthand can definitely shape how we view things. As someone who has experienced food insecurities, it has definitely opened my eyes to things around me. In February of 2022, my 7-month-old at the time, my husband and I unexpectedly found ourselves homeless. It took us 11 weeks of moving around between family, friends, and even a hotel stay. We were able to secure stable housing, which took all of the money we had in savings. So needing to stock an empty kitchen, we turned to a local food shelf for help. And due to the rising food costs and stagnant wages, we've continued to utilize the food shelf and other local community sports. Sorry, guys, I get emotional every time I talk about this. We qualified for SNAP for a short time, but due to slight wage increases, we now are a few $100s over income, so we no longer qualify, so we don't have that support anymore. But most families like mine, or mine included, are only one unexpected bill away, whether it's a car repair or even a higher energy bill, from being in a place that's really, really hard to get out of. It doesn't take much to reach that point either. I urge you all to take this challenge seriously. You'll have to get creative, and you may not necessarily be eating amazingly healthy, but it definitely put in the effort to get a feel for how many of us live every day, and use what you learn to get more involved in food justice advocacy. As someone who no longer qualifies for SNAP but utilizes food shelves, the need is definitely surpassing the means. As someone who utilizes food shelves, I used to be able to go every month, and now you're looking at 6 to 8 weeks in between appointments. So it's like every couple months. So, and then not having like the SNAP there, it gets really hard sometimes. So I definitely urge you, take this seriously and use what you learn over the course of the challenge to get more involved in food justice advocacy.
Awesome. Thank you, Ashley. We are so grateful that you were here today and so grateful for your ongoing partnership in this work. You are a rock star and we couldn't do it without you. So thanks. Next, I'm really excited to introduce Mai. Mai is joining us from SNAP Ed, which is a program that provides nutrition education and resources to lower income families. And SNAP Ed offers support with meal planning and cooking and really this understanding of how to stretch your food dollars. So Mai is going to share some tips and resources with us. So thank you, Mai. I'll pass it over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Ashley, for the introduction. I'm not sure if you're able to share the PowerPoint, and I apologize in advance, everyone, if it sounds like I'm speaking at you for now. But yeah, I'm happy to kind of share a little bit more about some shopping tips on eating healthy on a budget, or in general, just eating on a budget. We know that, the times are hard, and so, it can be challenging already to have a budget and work with that. You can go to the next slide. And so the 3 main steps that we're going to kind of be talking about today is going to be planning, purchasing, and preparation. Move on to the next slide. So with planning meals, a couple of things that might be helpful as you're kind of planning out your budget and your shopping list might be to think about planning your meals ahead of time. This can be a great opportunity for you to kind of think about utilizing ingredients that maybe you already have, and also think about trying different recipes. Another thing might be to think about maybe stretching the more expensive food items. So for example, sometimes our protein might be things that are usually more pricier. So I might think about if I'm getting chicken for the week, what are recipes that you will utilize chicken throughout the week. And then also if you're able to, and transportation isn't a barrier, maybe being a little bit more selective or intentional about the grocery stores that you're going to shop at. So for example, I might think about going to a Walmart versus a Target, or shopping at Aldi versus Cub. And also in our planning phase, I may think about creating a shopping list based off of the layout of the grocery store. So for example, a lot of the grocery store that we go to, they usually have their produce section right up in front, and then it goes into their kind of baked goods, protein, and then dairy in the back. And so I might create a shopping list that kind of follows the layout of the grocery store to not only like increase efficiency, but then also make sure that I stay within the aisles that I need to stay, and making sure I stay on track on my shopping list as well. I'll go on to the next one. And then we're going to be talking a little bit about some purchasing tips. So it might be a really good idea to, if possible, to eat before you shop a lot of times, just to make sure that we're fuel for the trip, and also that we have clarity while we're doing our shopping. And then also think about checking the shelves of stores, right? A lot of times grocery stores might have newspapers that they mail out, or they might have things online, or even if you don't have access to that, going to the grocery store, you can look for their tags where they have sales going on. And then also think about using coupons or joining rewards program to kind of collect points. A lot of grocery stores usually do offer free rewards program that you can join. And then also other ways to save money might be to buy fruits or vegetables that are in season, buying things that are frozen versus fresh, and then also thinking about maybe opting for the more generic or store brand versus like a name brand item. And if possible and have time, think also about maybe comparing the unit prices for products, so that you know exactly how much you're paying per unit for a certain product. And with that being said too, I did just want to mention, kind of making sure you are thinking, if you're shopping for an item, reading kind of like the sales items, because sometimes they might put a price and it's like per pound versus it for being covered for a whole item. So you just want to make sure that the item is priced for the whole thing, or if not, then what is the cost per pound? Go to the next one. And last but not least, another tip for food preparation is to maybe consider doing a little bit more prep work and cooking versus buying things that are pre-cut or pre-cooked. Since these items are pre-prepared, they're going to probably be a little bit more pricey. And then also for some families too, right? If you're thinking about your budget, for some families, it works better for them to make a dish in bulk that will last them a couple of days or throughout the week. But I know for some families, it might be more ideal for them to purchase ingredients in bulk that they can then utilize for multiple meals throughout the week. And so really just thinking about that, cooking in bulk or prepping your ingredients in bulk can be super helpful. And then also last on here is just to think about utilizing your leftovers, right? A lot of times, if we're trying to stretch our budget or our meals, leftovers can be a great way to incorporate into new meals and help us reach our goals as well too. And with that being said, on the next slide here, I did want to share with you guys some resources for recipe ideas that you guys can go to. And then on the next slide, I have linked on here some additional food resources that might be of interest to you guys. If you guys want to learn a little bit more about tips on how to eat healthy on a budget, or even learn a little bit more about how to do unit pricing, you can check out these links and they'll have explanation about it. And yeah, thank you so much everyone for allowing me to present and talk to you all today. If you guys have any questions, this is my email. Definitely feel free to send me an email. I'll be more than happy to help you.
Thank you so much, Mai. We're gonna add those links and make sure they get out to all of our participants in the SNAP Challenge. We'll talk about our toolkit in a little bit as well, but a lot of tips from our friends over at Snap Ed will be included in that. So thank you for being here. I hope everybody is ready to dive in and use some of those really great resources. So thanks, everybody. So now switching gears a little bit just to talk about the SNAP Challenge, what to expect and how to participate. So as you all know, the main goal of this challenge is to stick to that average SNAP benefit of $5.16 a day per person in your household for 3 days, and that's starting Monday. So everything that you buy and eat during this challenge has to fit within that budget. So we'd really love for you to try to eat only the food that you purchase specifically for the challenge. So if you're cooking, make sure you're really using those ingredients that you've purchased for those 3 days. So now this doesn't mean that you can't use spices or condiments that you already have. That's allowable and encouraged. So if you've got olive oil already or garlic powder, curry powder, whatever it is that you're going to be using for your recipes, feel free to use those. But for your main meals, really try to stick to the food that you bought for this challenge. And along with that, try to avoid accepting free food from friends or family or events like at work. For example, personally, I had to turn down a work lunch on Monday because I knew it wasn't going to fit in my budget for next week. So really, we do encourage you to try to stick to the challenge to really get that full experience. But most importantly, we really want you to share your experience. So talk about it to your friends, to your family. If you're on social media, use the hashtag #StepUpForSnap. That's our hashtag for this challenge. Our team is keeping an eye out on that and will help amplify your messages. We want this challenge to reach as many people as possible. So social media is a really key element to that. If you don't use social media, you can always share your experience in other ways. You can write emails to us and we'll help amplify what you're realizing and noticing throughout this challenge. You could write a blog post or even do an op-ed with your local newspaper. So there's a ton of ways to get your messages out, and we want to be there to help you. And if you need help kind of with some ideas or brainstorming, please reach out. We'd be happy to help amplify your experience in whatever way. And so you can kind of get the word out there. So we have also put together a really great toolkit to help you get the most out of this challenge. You'll find a lot of the resources that Mai had mentioned on there as well. You can find our toolkit on our website. You'll also receive it in several emails throughout the challenge, starting right after you sign up. So make sure to keep an eye out for that. We've created this toolkit really to give you the resources you need to succeed in this challenge, to stay on track and to really get the most and engage with the experience as best you can. So in the toolkit, you'll find resources, including recipes and budget tips, frequently asked questions about the challenge, its purpose, other information you might need to know. We've got some key information about the SNAP program. And then there's some example media posts as well to kind of get you started on sharing your experience. And we've included some really great conversation starters as well. So you can use those to help you talk about why you're doing this, why it's important. And then we've also included some reflection questions to help you kind of share out what you've learned and experienced throughout this. So take a look at that toolkit. It's available for you for help and guidance throughout the challenge. And then once the 3 days are over, you might be asking, what now? What happens next? And even though this challenge is only 3 days, this is a reality that many people face every day. So we really encourage you to reflect on the experience. Was it hard? What emotions came up? How did you feel about the meals that you were eating and what you had to prepare? And again, share that experience. Use Step Up for Snap, tag the food group. We really want to keep the conversation going even after the challenge ends. So keep that in mind throughout. Another way that we can kind of keep this collective action going is to take action. Every year in March, the food group puts on Hunger Day on the Hill. So we invite you to join us for that, where we encourage lawmakers to pass legislation that will help combat food insecurity. We also have our Action Alert Network that we encourage everyone to sign up for. This is a great way to get action alerts right into your inbox. We'll keep you updated on what's happening at the legislature around these issues, how you can stay involved, and how you can help influence some policy change there. So we'll be sure to share that link in a lot of our materials as well, so you'll have that ready to take action and engage. And then another way, of course, is you can always support your local food shelves after the challenge, your local food bank, other nonprofits that serve the population who are enrolled in SNAP. And then you can do that by either volunteering or donating your time, your money. Both of those are great ways to kind of continue on your involvement in this cause after the challenge. So we'll be sure to share out all of those resources, but that is all we have for you today. Any questions in the chat, or anyone have any questions that I can help answer right away? Okay. Well, if you have any questions throughout the challenge, please reach out. My email's listed right here. Happy to talk through any ideas on sharing and amplifying your experience. And thank you all for being here. Thanks for our speakers for being here as well. And I hope everyone has a great day and a great SNAP challenge. So thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye, Ashley. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Ashley.
Ashley.